The following podcast may contain spoilers. How you doing, listener? Guess what? We're back.
Yeah.
And it's a Richard episode.
Yes, it is.
Kenny's in on this too.
I mean, yeah, I'm here.
No, but he started it. Did you hear how authoritative he was? Just like this is a Richard one.
Yeah, this is a Richard one. I'm really happy to be doing this episode. But before we get into that, again, I'm Richard, and I'm joined here by my two co-hosts.
I'm Bill.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Seth. I'm not a co-host. I'm the third one. I'm not one of those two.
Self-proclaimed perennial guest Seth Thompson.
I will one day be a co-host.
So
This bridge will be crossed one day.
Did you do any homework?
For
Book eating magician.
no, not a lick of homework, and y'all can like hold. Man.
Well, did
It's
you do any
okay.
King's Avatar homework?
I didn't do any prep work for King's Avatar, although you have talked a lot about this one, and I think we watched one episode of this anime.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
episode 1 like when we were at our old house.
Yeah, no, when it
Dude.
started to come out, you were like, "Oh shit, you guys! One of them's getting made. One of them's an anime. We got to watch it." And then we never actually did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it. but
Oh no, you absolutely
I,
did.
I have a problem. So, today's King's Avatar, guys.
Yeah,
Ooh.
as you may have figured out by our conversation here.
Or by reading the chapter title.
Yeah, they know what they clicked on.
They know what they clicked on. We should like fake someone out and be like, "Oh man, it's Battle Through the Heavens," but it's
We really should have done
But
that
it's
one
Release the Witch.
for the one I faked out, but then because it wasn't effective at all because they clicked a podcast for a different thing, and I tried to open it for a different book, and they're like, "Well, this isn't what I clicked on," and then it turns out it was actually the thing that they clicked on.
yes.
I'm like, yeah, they kind of know.
It was a bad gambit. Shouldn't have tried.
One day we'll do cultivation chat group.
Yeah,
No, for sure.
I'd like to pick it back up again. It was a fun book.
But King's Avatar. I
King-
haven't read this one.
King's Avatar is the reason why I'm doing this show.
Oh.
Like Kenny and I Shall Seal the Heavens. This is my I Shall Seal the Heavens. And that's crazy, right? But like I loved this book in ways that a man should not love a book. Like it's too much, man. I wish I was in China. I would go to see the stage play they have for this.
Ooh, stage play.
It has a stage play.
I just want to see the umbrella that they use for the stage play.
Yeah. Dude, there's actually, fun fact, his weapon, the Myriad
Transformations umbrella. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
manifestation, Myriad manifestations.
Manifestations umbrella, they actually have the diagram showing how each part works and how the transformation mechanism works. And you can look at a 3D model functioning version of it online.
Ugh.
Disgusting.
It's so dope. Let's do the novel. What's the novel translation summary for this amazing book?
In the online game, Glory, Yixu is regarded as a textbook and top-tier pro player. However, due to a myriad reasons, he is kicked from the team. After leaving the professional scene, he finds work in an internet cafe as a manager. When Glory launches its 10th server, he who possesses 10 years of gaming experience once again throws himself into the game. Bringing with him the memories of his past and an incomplete self-made weapon, his return among the road to the summit begins. After fighting and scheming, who snatched away my glory? Under the tossing of the wind and rain, my dreams shall still appear as though they had never been shattered. In all its splendor, the past shall never be lost. Before the gazes of millions, this is where I return. Under the gaming category, the King's Avatar received the title for Best Work in 2013 as the first and only 1,000 pledged work. Wow.
Yeah, King's Avatar is serious business.
Seems like.
It's serious. It's really good. So we have our main character. He's known by two names. There's,
Yeah, well, there's his professional name, which is Yichu, which, as I understand it, was kind of made from like a typo when they were originally creating his pro registration?
Almost.
his
It's actually
character?
the name of his brother.
Oh, okay.
Bum, 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 bum.
You see, he comes from, even though Glory is big, it's like really big where it's at. Like all gaming and esports, he was there when it was young,
Sure.
when gaming was looked down upon, when it was like a profession that was deemed like insulting to a family. He
So,
comes
like,
from a family that has a lot of influence, a lot of potential, a lot of power. So he couldn't, and he ran away from home to compete in this esports when he was young. So
reverse weed? Like instead of coming from
He put himself into poverty to play games.
pretty much. And then like he was one of those, he was so good. Like he doesn't have a huge amount of money after being forced to retire because of some BS with the previous leader and the fact that they couldn't make money off of his name because he refused to appear in public, unlike everyone else.
Yeah, he just kept his identity a complete secret.
Like,
he never showed himself. He just like was this untouchable god in the system.
He's an enigma. He avoided all stuff. All of his appearances and awards was done through QQ, basically Chinese Skype.
Yeah.
And they couldn't deal with it. But the players know who he is. They know what he looks like. But the normal folk don't know him. They don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, why would
But
they?
he's when they fight him, they know it's him because he's a god. And there's not many gods. But when you face a god, they're so good at the game, let alone good at their class. So our main character, he's good at everything.
so
Yeah,
like,
no, when they say when Bill mentioned in the novel updates transition that he's considered a textbook, that was not like a textbook pro player. That's not like an adjective that's affecting. No, he is considered to be a textbook, as in many of the beginner's guides for the games were written originally by him. They may have been updated for new strategies, but he's essentially has created the encyclopedia of knowledge that exists for this game in the most part.
It's not about understanding the metagame. He is the metagame. He can go toe to toe with other gods playing their class. He's done it. There's a part like where I'm at, like chapter 900. This is not a spoiler. He goes toe to toe with another hidden god that had retired due to like arm hand injuries. He's trying to make a comeback, right? He goes toe to toe with him in secret in an awesome battle. Not playing his main class, and they fight each other to a standstill. It's insane.
oh man, those video game cultivators and their cultivation injuries of carpal tunnel.
Well, I mean, this is just straight like this is not a fantasy world. This is just Earth with a real good MMO.
Yes, real good MMO. And the alliance, the pro player alliance focuses very much on maintaining that connection with the game and the pros. So any advancement in gear, any upgrades of the weapons, anything has to be funded by your guild that supports your pro team. So the pro team needs to pay the people who are the main members of the guild to do it. They're not pros, but they have groups that are doing it, which means fighting over wild bosses isn't just fighting over gear for your raid group. It's fighting over gear for your pro team that is fighting for sponsorships and all this other stuff.
Sure.
And now we have the rise up of a grassroots team, Team Happy, named after the LAN center run by one of our main characters. I'm going to call her by her in-game name. The name of her character is Chasing Hayes. She is a gunner. Specifically, she plays the same class as our main character's main partner, Mu Chung.
Yeah, Sumu Chung, I guess. Yeah.
Mu Chang. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the names, guys. I can spell it, but I can't pronounce it. But
I actually have a couple of questions. By what kind of gameplay are we looking at on levels of 1 being realistic and 10 being Sword Art Online?
This is like a 7.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's imagine Sword Art Online levels of realism and like individual control over your character, but today, like you're still looking at it on a computer screen and your input is still WASD with the mouse.
But the control is so specific and so hard that the skill cap is super high. So think if you have an MMO with like fighting game level execution requirements.
Or like original StarCraft players playing an MMO.
Pretty much, but like harder than that.
Oh jeez.
Because he's doing like, and then there's one part where this is another side story. They introduce a character early on, like middle of the story, where he's actually helping Team Blue Rain's guild and wild boss hunting. And this is young 14-year-old kid, and he's a blade master because
Because they get to use lightsabers.
yeah, they get to use lightsaber, but he's a great sword because he's a savage.
Yeah.
This kid
do they get to
has
wield
no fear.
great lightsabers?
No. Lightsaber is like a type of sword. There's three. There's the fastest, which is a lightsaber.
Yeah.
The slowest being a great sword,
Okay.
and one in the middle being like a cutlass or a normal sword.
Okay.
The different as you read this, you actually could begin to know this system of this game so well that you could recreate it. You could play it.
If you took all the time J.R.R. Tolkien spent describing the scenery in Lord of the Rings, and then you instead swapped that to game mechanics of the game Glory, that's pretty much an accurate description of how much
So this guy made
you're
a game,
getting.
but he didn't know how to actually make a game, so he instead wrote a book and made
And,
the game as best
Is
he
gonna
could.
hope somebody like comes up behind him and buttons it up.
Honestly, like with Tencent being the one who paid for that anime and is paying for a lot of the stuff for this story, there might be a Glory in real life, to be frank. Because Tencent,
I
Oh.
don't.
when they bought Riot Games and all other stuff,
Oh.
that might happen. I
That's
can only
fair.
hope that we get Glory for real. But a lot of the early start part of the story is you basically being in the shoes of Soft Miss, aka Tengro, and learning the story as a newbie coming up and eventually moving on to, try to get to the pro scene. Because that's what happened. Our main character is one walking through the story. He's done it all before. He is not to be trifled with. Great guilds have come to this 10th server because it's a new server. They put one out every year. This is the 10th year, so the 10th server, which means there's this entirely new world. Everyone eventually goes up to the higher realm. Usually you do that at level 70. You can technically do it at level 50. Our main character's new class, he's doing what was really popular when the game came out, when the level cap was 50, called an unspecialized. They have low-level skills from all of the classes.
Yeah, they're unspecialized because they never choose a class.
And-
Which is to say that they can use every single class's basic skills.
They
Which
can use
normally
a-
when you pick a class, it cuts you off from everyone except your classes.
And the class, you can get once you pick your class, you can get all the high-level skills in your class, and there's a finite number of points, and points aren't guaranteed. Points can drop. So most characters, a god tier character back at like at level 70 is there's a maximum amount of points of 5,000 you can have for skill points.
And pretty much
A
no
god
one
tier
has
is
that.
4,800 plus. So if you have 4,860, you consider extra god tier.
Good God.
Later they found a way via an old professional player that retired in the second year, and he's making a comeback and joins Team Happy. He's one of my favorite characters actually, because Wei Chin does not give a fuck at all. Pretty much Wei Chin represents being a guy on the older end, because you gotta realize our main character, Yechu,
he's-
whatever you want to call him, he's 25.
He's like
which
a
means
year or two from basically almost guaranteed professional retirement.
Pretty
in,
much.
in everyone's mind.
because in esports, there's there's an upper limit to how old you can be before your maximum hand speed begins to fall off, and just you have to rely on pure intuition and experience to fight.
Sure.
It's where I am in fighting games, pretty much.
Just like
Where
in boxing.
I don't have the reactions of a fresh 17 or 18-year-old. All I have is one experience and two reads. And that's enough for the most part. But when you're dealing with kids who not only have young gods or gods in the making, who have both that young reaction speed plus the hand speed to back it up, age begins to affect your potential. So he doesn't have much longer.
Yeah.
Wei Chin is like 27. He retired 2 years into being pro. So he's been retired for like 5 to 6 years.
Jesus, Wei Chen, what are you doing coming back?
He's been like he was working at a land because he retired before all the money went to the Alliance. Before there was money, he was one of the precursors. He got like second place a bunch. In fact, our main characters and his team, Excellent Era, stopped him from winning because he was actually the original owner of Swaksar, the great warlock of Team Blue Rain that was given to the new master tactician, god of tactics, that has bad hand speed and mechanics of Team Blue Rain.
Yeah, that's something that we kind of get into like a lot in the story is just the fact that like these kind of brutal politics regarding the esports in like China, which I'm pretty sure are based on very much existing.
This stuff is so accurate with the way they execute the politics and the way they execute like talking about the age, talking about the hand speed, and it makes me like think about like when I used to play these esports competitively, when I played League, when I was on a team for League, when I was playing fighting games, like super traveling for that. Like it like touches my heart with the accuracy of how cold-blooded the business side of it is. But continue, sorry.
No, that was pretty much it. Was just the point that it's like I really like that because this one is based on Earth and is not like someone from Earth got pulled to another dimension or Earth is part of
it is very much
realm. It is like no, this is people in China in the not very far future, just like playing League of Legends-esque MMO.
It's like Hajime no Takamura for fighting game. Or
Man, that's
for
a deep cut.
The way to explain the systems of this game, so you have an idea of the sheer, like when you're reading it and you're seeing the crazy shit, all of the characters, like Tang Ro beating pro players with just hand speed because she's a former pianist.
That'd do it, yeah.
Tangro is my favorite character that I've encountered thus far.
Good.
Because she's the kind of person that like she's only interested in things that challenge her. So like her friend, the owner of the internet cafe, has like tried to get her into this game constantly. And like she is generally pretty good at the game. Like she's been playing for 5 years.
Yeah, she's
an
an experienced. She's
player.
a veteran. She's just not pro level. She just can never be pro. She just doesn't have the potential.
But like, like we see her like fighting somebody like a bunch of times and losing every time. And then Yichiu comes in and beats the guy in like 20 seconds. And he's like, sorry, you left your thing logged in, so I didn't want you to lose. So I just played it real quick. And this is the person she's been losing to for like 2 hours.
Delightful.
Or like Tang Ro, who
Yeah.
is the person chasing Hayes. I'm going to call them by their in-game names. You're going to appreciate their real names later. But that's how like the pro scene knows them.
Right,
They
would
call
yeah.
Tang Ro Soft Mist in real life because her name, when you translate Soft Mist, sounds a lot like Tang Ro. But whatever. They would call them by their names. But anyway, chasing Hayes would get Tang Ro to hop on her character and beat people for her when she was having a bad time. Tang Ro knows nothing about glory at all. Her hand speed is so fast that even while not knowing what's like the mechanics of the game, she will overwhelm someone with just the speed of her
Just
hand.
button mashing.
So like, but she keeps the internet manager keeps, or the internet cafe manager keeps finding harder and harder people for her to fight, and every time she's like, "It was just that much." Okay, I mean, like, all right, I thought this was gonna be interesting this time.
And what got Tang Ro to play Glory and take it seriously was both meeting the main character and being savagely beat without him trying.
He's like, she challenges him and like jokingly, he's like, well, sure, let's play for like a pack of cigarettes. And she's like, I don't smoke. And he's like, fine, like the cost of a pack of cigarettes.
Whatever. The equivalent. Let's go.
And then like they fight and like he just like destroys her.
And he's not trying.
And he's holding back. He's like, this is like not really like I can't in good conscience beat you like this. This isn't even a fair contest.
Yeah.
But Tang Ro does not want that. Cause she wants to she will never back down. Like I respect her viewpoint as a character, as a player of games. She refuses to to take losses sitting down. She will encounter someone who was miles above her skill level, and she will keep fighting them, and she can beat them.
Just through sheer force of will?
Sheer force of will.
Yeah, so I mean, immediately she loses to him like 11 times, like loses her like month's paycheck to him, like immediately, and is like, no, I don't even care, and then just like sits down and starts leveling a character, like sits down, starts reading guides about how to play the game, like starts like rushing through the beginners area, and is like,
He's created
the most hardcore person like at this cafe on the night when the 10th server is opening and everyone is like freaking out about playing in the new server.
Rose growth and Steen Bun. You meet him in game, and then he later comes, joins Happy, starts living there, and all the other stuff.
Steam Bun Invasion is like one of my favorite characters.
He is crazy. He is actually crazy. Like, there's a one part where they're like at a party and they're trying to get sponsors and they're hanging out and they're rubbing elbows, and the owner, who always wishes she could be a pro player but can't, but she's happy to be the boss. And this is her team, and it's a grassroots team rising up against the machine. It's great.
Good old Chief.
But there's a guy there who starts insulting. He's like, "Oh, you pro players can't do anything. You're trash. You're not good at anything. Y'all are only good at video games. Video games are worthless." That's when you discover like Tang Ro is a masterful pianist, like legendary. And she got bored
I was
because
really,
she lost a challenge, so she quit and decided to go on an adventure.
I was really hoping you were gonna tell me, "Oh, okay, fine," and then they shadow dueled, and then he lost in the video game, so he lost in real life.
No, this is still a video game.
Oh, it was always a video game.
But
Bill.
like Steam Bun is like, "Hey, if you want, we could I'm pretty good at boxing if you want to fight." And he's not joking. Let's fight. Like, let's prove our skill. You can take the first hit, and then I'll hit you right after. Let's do it.
Do you want to fucking go, man?
Because Steam Bun, he could only play at night because he's working as a security guard. The young dude, he looks like a gangster. But it's just silly Tang Ro. He plays a brawler who specializes in like not like any other strikers who's like a monk who fights honorably. No, he only fights dirty.
Oh,
Throws sand, throws brick. His favorite thing is to say, "Taste my brick," and he just throws it.
That is. He is a beautiful character. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I love when we were talking about like the game mechanics. Like, it's really cool because like when they talk about brick, because we have these noobs and because we have the main character being the textbook that he is, someone will like use a move and he'll be like, no, you're using that all wrong. If you use it in this particular way where you hit him in the back of the head, it has an additional 50% chance to stun them for up to 8 seconds. And if you do this, and if you do it in this way, this effect is guaranteed. And if you do it in this way, the effect...
There's a lot of secret shit with the moves that you learn from using it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's also stuff that is like crazy shit where you can do like shadow, where you stay in the shadow of someone's viewpoint so that you're invisible while you're comboing them so they never come out your combo, which is really hard because this game is entirely in first person. But the movement is incredible. And the moves have so many intangibles, aiming, doing things, so much tech skill involved.
It's the kind of thing where like there's an attack that's like a sword slash, but if you start looking left and start the sword slash and swing your camera all the way over to the right, the arc follows with your character. So like your hand speed and the way your ability to manipulate the camera and like your skills like directly affects the effectiveness of the skills as well. So like the difference in talent between these pro level players and like the experienced players and your like normal players and your noobs is like so distinct.
When you have a one character that can take out 100-man raid by himself off of pure skill being 20 levels underneath them, then you realize how important skill level in this game is.
Yeah, it sounds like. Goddamn.
And basically you get to see the story of him leveling up from 1 to max level, and then they do an expansion and then level up in the expansion and do all that mess while bringing both the high level realm and all of the servers to their knees.
Ooh.
It's great.
That's a
And then
good
they
quest.
start to...
Yeah, like the high level realm is shared among all servers. So like once you like hit the heavenly domain, no matter which server you're from, you rise into like the real.
Oh, that's
thing
cool.
that
Are
everyone
you
is
are you
in.
cordoned off as to which realm you came from? Like, are there
You
like
can't bring stuff from the heavenly domain to the normal world, which is why you'll see people leave the heavenly domain, go back to their main world, craft their silver weapons. Silver weapon, basically, there's tiers of weapons. There's a lot of shit in the story.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah,
They're
sounds
gonna
like
explain it. You're gonna know. So when someone's using these billies, like he explained it, how they went in detail in the beginning of how shit works, you know. So when they're explaining these battles later, the battles are so good, and you understand what's going on. You can appreciate the skill level of a god
Yeah.
versus a normal pro player versus a normal player that's just good. And the fact that like our main character also explains the value, and eventually they explain the value of absolute hand speed versus a controlled hand speed, and the fact that hand speed isn't everything. He even records people who have terrible hand speed, who would be looked over by the big guilds and the pro teams because they have potential intangibles that are greater than hand speed. I can teach a player to be a pro player. That's how good Ye Shu or Ye Q or however you want to play it. Ye Shu or he's so good at crafting and raising talent that his former students, his former Team Excellent era, people he's played with are still influenced by him. Him being in the normal game or in the Challenger League influences their play at the pro level on the streams and on television. When he destroys them, when they run to the game to help their guilds because he's dominating their guilds,
Right.
they call them pro players.
He's dominating all their little, like, he's out of the pro scene, so he has no shame in playing the normal game. Whereas, like, all these other people, if they go down into the normal game and, like, compete with the people that are just playing normally, it's like, come on, dude, like, get the fuck out of here.
it's like seniors beating
But
juniors?
They can't do anything. So when they lose to him in the world, it affects their play in real life. Like they're so thinking about Lord Grimm ruining their day, ruining their life.
They get studio triggered.
Oh yeah, it's bad. Like,
It's great. Like the person who the vice captain of this happens
How?
like real early on. Actually, I'm only 150 chapters or so in, and like the vice captain of their squad, of the squad that he got kicked out of, comes into the internet cafe and he's like, "Oh, look at you! You're just an internet cafe manager." And then like he ends up competing against it, like making a character and trying to compete against him.
Yeah, I'm gonna crush the old captain so we can be free of his chains.
Oh, you started a new character
like-
on a new server? Let me do that too. Hang on.
Like
No,
our
they-
main character
they
almost
were
immediately
handed
figures out.
characters with orange gear and all this other shit, and they come in and just get bodied, like viciously bodied.
Like, they have this like scheme that like lasts like 3 days that involves like the guy has to like underperform and is not preparing for a pro match. Like he's going in, there's like, all right, fine, we're done. We'll figure out all this dungeon shit after the match. What maps are we playing? And like it was their home advantage, so they got to pick a map and like study it and understand their strategy. And like he just didn't do any of that shit, and they just get dominated because he makes mistakes, like he's playing his level 25 character and not his max level top of the world pro character.
Full silver gear, all of it. Also, like the lore of this world is so refined. Like the writer knows where all the characters are going. So you have all of this huge history of all the gods, all their god characters that have been handed down and all this other stuff. You talk about Zhang Jiali or Sun Zeping, and they created a special technique of combination of sharpshooter and berserker called Blood and Bloom, and it was unstoppable. Only stopped by our main character Q,
because he understands the concepts of the game so well that he like sees it, even never having encountered it before, and he's like, "Oh, but if you did this, it would stop that."
Yeah. He knew how to stop it. Or like the amazing battles of the gods when they meet in the story or they meet in game or meet offline are great. You know, it's like watching Daigo. If Daigo could fight Daigo,
Jesus,
it's so good, and you feel like you'll be reading and your heart will start pumping from the awesome match that are playing out in words in front of you as you read it.
Oh, dude, I do love when that happens. That typically happens like to ATG or I Shall Seal Heavens for
Yeah.
me. Because it's like those scenes just get you like, man, now I want to fight. Let's go.
Yeah, like being able to see everything in your mind's eye. I feel like, you know how Lord of the Rings Tolkien explains all of the world and all of the scenery and shit,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really have a payoff. Knowing the scenery doesn't really improve your enjoyment of the action or the storylines.
I don't know. Tolkien would disagree. That's why.
I mean, yeah, I understand
it's
that,
not-
but it's like knowing the scenery in detail, the color of the branch of
That's
that
fair.
tree
Outside-
doesn't improve the overall ending story arc. In this, you get this info dump as new skills are learned by Tangro or Steambun Invasion or Concealed Light or Little Cold Hands.
So it's useful to know what color the branch was a while later.
Because knowing that color of the branch lets you appreciate
No, I get you.
what's going, lets you understand what the fuck is happening and why the characters Tangro made the decision to do this. It's not the it's at first it's tell not show, and then it's show not tell later because he told you already.
Yeah, no, that's I like that. I like that that way to build up into it.
Yeah, and he's already started to get there to me. Like there's a couple classes that he's delved into a lot more because they're the classes the main characters are playing, and like he at the beginning he was like, boom, he does this attack. This kind of attack. He does this attack, which is like this sort of effect. He does this attack, which is this kind of effect, followed up by the final attack in the combo boom. And then like later, like a few 20 chapters later, he's not describing each of those individually. He's just like using the names of each of the attacks. And then like a few chapters later, it's like using the battle mage's like normal 4-hit combo, and you know exactly what he's talking about when he says that.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like you understand that if he uses a dragon tooth, it's 2 hits, and the second hit has a stun/grab property, which it will beat out the priority of most moves. So you understand why previously he popped this to counter that before it even started, or why he deliberately ate this move so he could take advantage that you're in hit stop from hitting me to activate this invincible move and plow through you. It's incredible. And then because our main character makes side characters to both be spies in other guilds, to both play with things, to run things. You learn priest, you learn knight, you learn keymaster, you learn ghost blades. You know every class in this game, all 24 classes. You know by heart, you know how they function. You know what every character in the league that plays them. You just know them. And I've never known so much about a story ever. And I read all the time. I know everything there is to know. When they mention someone's name, I'm like, oh yeah, he plays this character. I don't even need them to explain what they're playing because they've explained that, and you're invested in every major character of each of the main guilds that are competing. Like probably the top 10 guilds. I know all their major players. I know the guild leaders of most of the major guilds. Of the lesser guilds, I know them. I know stuff about people who got relegated because they were in the bottom 3 of the alliance. They got relegated to Challenger League. I know all that. And it's not like info dumps. I just care because this influences the path these characters you love have to go through.
That's that's very detailed.
It's super detailed, but at the same time, it's like it's both a slice of life, but there's also awesome story elements, and there's also comedy. Tons of comedy in this. It's just really funny, especially when Wei Chin shows up and him being an old god himself feuding with the main character god because they're all shameless.
I just really like our main character. Sorry.
I do wanted to get to my second point of you said he is excellent at everything, and by that I'm guessing there is more than just combat in this game. What else is there to do?
No, he means he could play like every class flawlessly.
Also, he can do the hard stuff like crafting silver equipment from scratch,
Okay.
which is extremely hard. Like,
and not only does he do it do that, he also does it the harder way, where he makes it as a low-level equipment and consistently upgrades it to a high-level equipment instead of just creating a silver-level, high-level equipment.
He has the hardest weapon to upgrade because not only does he have to do it, he also do it for all 12 weapons. There's 24 classes, but there's multiple classes in each stuff, so there's 12 weapons for each of the that they all can do.
Yeah.
Myriad Manifestations Umbrella is both a joy and a gift, but later it becomes not just upgrading silver equipment for him, the Myriad Manifestations Umbrella. It's dealing with Wei Chen's Death's Hand and making silver gear for everyone else, making do with orange gear when everyone else has silver gear, dealing with the gear difference and creating something custom, because silver gear is special because you get to influence both how good it is and what are the stats and bonuses on each one.
So
And it's custom for each person.
imagine essentially there's a normal rarity listing for equipment in this game, like a normal WoW one. And then on the side, there is silver weapons that are kind of in a separate category. They are self-made. There's a statement, not all silver weapons are strong, but all truly strong weapons are silver.
It's
I
true.
see.
And that is because, not so much because the stats on silver weapons are necessarily going to be higher than they would be on orange weapons, but because silver weapons are designed, like, this is not just, oh, this is how much damage my weapon is doing. No, this is, how does my weapon make, like, function? What is the reach of it? What is the speed of it? Like, being able to tweak all those to perfectly fit your playstyle.
Does this give me more spell range? Does it give me more cast speed? Does it add an effect to destroy my opponent's weapon because I want him to suffer?
Ooh.
Because if you destroy someone's weapon, it's gone, including silver. That weapon is gone.
Ooh. Ooh, that would really fuck up a man.
Yeah. So, like, you can see that both in their silver gear, it reflects their personality, the way they play, their skill level. So as our youngins, the people you get to walk in the shoes of, Tangro and Steam Bun, Conceal Light, walk their path to becoming pros, you can see as their styles of, enhance. Instead of Tangro being a carbon copy of, Yezu or Yechu, or however you want to call him, she becomes her own character. She's aggressive to the point of being aggressive. Her skill point choices are dictated by her aggression. Her weapon is dictated by her aggression. She is their point, the person who will always commit to go in, because that's who she is as a person. And your personality is reflected in your gameplay in the game. And that's something you don't see in many games. Like, I only see those in fighting games in real life. So to imagine the MMO that has that blows my mind.
I'm thinking about like the level of complexity that must be going into like actual, like, I can only imagine it sounding like the noise from your room when you're playing fighting games, but like times 10 because it's with keyboards instead. And so just destructive clack walls is the only thing I can imagine when I'm trying to imagine somebody playing this game.
The image that I've kind of been crafting as I've been reading this, and I don't know how perfect this is, but take like Overwatch.
Sure.
All right. And now give characters like as many skills as like a WoW character.
Okay.
And then make it an MMO. Like,
Well, I mean,
as many skills as a WoW character. I didn't say make it a WoW game.
well, yeah, but that's what I mean. You basically fuse Overwatch, take the Overwatch engine and dump WoW over it.
I'm saying, like, imagine the specificity of control in Overwatch. The people that are doing such ridiculous things as, like, shooting a basketball into the air and grappling onto it to use it to travel across the map so they can kill someone in a very, like, particular way. Or the people that do obscene things with Genji, or, like, all of those incredibly high-level mechanic type things.
With an MMO's depth on top of it.
Of skill, and like that's kind of how I imagine this. Like, there's a scene where they're talking about how they're like doing their new strategy to clear dungeon, and this person who is like the leader of a guild is struggling to do the basic like movement mechanics that they require of him. Like, he's like, no, move back, and then you only need 6 aerial jumps to go backwards to that window, or 5 instead. If you do 6, you'll hit your head. That's too many. You need to change your position.
Jesus.
Like,
And they explain these mechanics in detail, even like little things, little challenges that later they become like second nature to your character, so it becomes not important. Like, and you understand now why in the beginning how easily and thoroughly he dominated normal. Like, they're not normal guilds. These are people who paid to play this game for their guilds and teams,
Sure.
and they can't touch our main character leading a group of randoms doing it
Well,
because he understands the mechanics and the system so well that he can walk a baby through it.
So like, okay, whenever I play an MMO of any sort, my favorite is always the garbage, not even a part of anything thing to do. So like getting pets or getting cosmetics or getting all of the mounts.
No, that's not what this game's about, dude. This
Okay.
game's about going to dungeons, killing monsters, getting better gear, and beating other people in the
They have that, but that's not for our characters. They're like me. Like you get
Okay.
to see the viewpoint of me, but also through Chasing Haze, you get to see the viewpoint of someone like you, right?
Okay.
So like the people who enjoy the fun, the cool, the lore and all the other stuff, you get to see that in the background. And you also get to see how little our main character cares. Or how little Tangrowth actually cares about the story. Because the storyline is actually super deep in depth, cool. Like it's something I would read as a book fantasy.
So it's like the bad guy's in the middle of monologuing and he just walks up and bonks him and takes his treasure.
Pretty much.
But he wasn't done.
Or like when the new level start and they're running raids for the first time and they're getting these world records to farm the bonus gear from setting a world record, so they're moving slower so they can set repeated world records before the lockout happens, beating themselves. And
that's disgusting.
so they're like, oh yeah, if you kill him before he can summon this, who cares about the story stuff? Murder him, and we can move this, and we can speed this up by 5 minutes. You can see them optimizing runs, or optimizing combat, or not worrying about this. And though other people care about the storyline, yes, the storyline's very interesting, and the offer will explain, like, oh yeah, it has a cool story, but our characters actually don't care.
Well, I mean, for one, they don't care, but almost every important character in this that's not like a part of the happy team is like literally already played through this game on probably multiple servers.
Yes.
So like they've experienced all that if they want to. So it's not their concern anymore. But like that's what I love about the main characters is that like I don't, it's never really stated, or at least it hasn't been thus far. It was like maybe like once, but his motivation for playing the game has never been like, I want to be a pro player, I want to be famous, I want to like use this to pay my way. His motivation has always been, I find this game fascinating, and only the highest level stuff at this point is still able to provide me with any challenge in the mechanics of the game. So I need to be at the forefront of this scene to still be able to enjoy this game.
Yeah, pretty much. I love Glory, but I love Glory played the best. I want to be champion because being the champion proves I'm the best. Everything else is irrelevant. Do you want to taste that champion cup? And you realize all the gods want that. There's a point where gods from different teams retire or quit and are traded to one team, Tyranny.
I was about to ask.
Tyranny has 4 gods on their roster. So 4 god, a 5-man. So if you do it, there. I didn't even talk about the stages. There's 1v1s, there's the group stage, and then there's the group battle.
I was gonna say, what do these fights look like? Like,
so there's 3 1v1s where it's like you get points for winning the 1v1 stage, right? So, and it's basically like Overwatch League. It's decided by points. Even if you lose, if you got 4 points, you didn't lose 10-0. If you won 4-6. Lost 4-6 is still good because it's to put you 4 points above who was beneath you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, you can win individuals, and you have to pick how you pick because if you compete in the individual, you can't compete in the group stage, but you can still compete in the group battle. But they got to pick how they do that. So you have your 1v1s, your 3 of them. You have your group battle where it's like 2-on-2. And that's great. That's awesome. They explain those. And they also have the awesome 5v5. And then there's also a sub. So like if someone dies, another person will come in and that's your sub. Or you can sub it in and out.
That seems like that could really like change a fight entirely depending on who you have coming in.
And then you got to deal with people who are all-star tier players who could take the chance to join a championship team, but I will be a 6th player, and I deserve better than that. I want my team built around me. I'm a Kobe Bryant. I don't want to be on the bench because you have 4 gods already.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like this book is half about the politics of this league. Like it is a very important thing because the main character is very intimately acquainted with most of these people. And so like they interact with him, and because they are interacting with him, this world slowly starts to form around him. Because all of the actions he's taking just by playing the normal game are shaping even things in like the highest level of the game.
And I won't spoil the awesome stuff that's gonna happen with Challenger League, or the surprise and the twists and turns, the surprise trades, because it goes through multiple years of them. Remember when he was forced to retire, they forced him to retire. He can't re-enter the pro scene for a year. He spends that year cultivating a team, cultivating new blood who's never touched the game before.
That's just what he's doing at the beginning of this book. Yeah,
and then at the end of that year, they start entering the Challenger League, which is taking place during the next season. So you get to see one championship, you get to see the season that's happening right now, while the Challenger League is happening, and then the season after that.
So what you're telling me is this is video game Emperor's Domination?
Not quite.
Ah.
It's not video game Emperor's Domination, because even though our character, Yeikyu, is so good, and he's not invincible.
I see.
And he understands truly what not being invincible. Yes, he's won 3 championships in a row. But that doesn't mean, but he's also been beaten for winning more championships by people who've risen up to deal with him. Not because he played bad, but you can't win them all. Some people run hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you intrinsically understand he's not invincible, and he plays around the fact that I am great, but there's limits, and I still need people around me. Yeah. So, like, everyone ends up being important. As he builds his team, you become attached to characters as they learn, they deal their family situations influencing them. Concealed Light, he is a mathematician. He is actually so good at math and such a young and great college student that Yeikyu feels bad that he's drafting him into his pro team, because I feel like the world loses out by you not being in school. Because he's so good, right?
Nah, man. It's important that he's playing this video game.
Yeah, I really like our main character because he's a very simple, like, his desires, like earthly desires, are very, very simple. He's very he's pretty much wants cigarettes to smoke and a place to play games. Like,
pretty simple.
Oh man.
And you realize he's running away from something grander. Like when you see his brother and his brother shows up and he has this level of class, you're surprised to see it in a LAN center, to see his brother, and you realize what he's running from. You also get to see that the situation Tangrol is in is like the opposite of Yeikyu. Or you get to see the situation that Steam Bun Invasion is in, or little Code Hands, who has to deal with explaining to his family why he's taking a break from college to compete in these offline tournaments. Oof. Or dealing with all this other stuff. You get to see the reason why Chasing Hayes puts so much value in the glory and her LAN center and her connection to her father who's passed away. Or you get a lot of the human element in this. And you can appreciate that. You also can appreciate the way the gaming media and the media news treat their players, because it's not about them being good players or being human beings. They're ways for them to exploit money, ways for them to exploit stories.
Well, yeah, that's
that profit.
It's actually like crazy. Like, it's crazy how much detail, how much you end up caring about Luhan Win, or laughing at how little of a shit Wayne Xiaotian cared. Like, I'm saying these names, but as you read it, you'll know what I mean. Or if you read it before, you'll see what I'm coming from. That they've really put a lot into these characters. Characters have flaws. Not everyone is pretty. Not everyone, like they talk about Wang Jexi, who they wanted to push as the replacement for Ye Chu when he won 2 tournaments in a row, but they couldn't push him because he was ugly, because he has one eye bigger than the other, or
That'll do it.
or the guy who would always go toe to toe with Ye Chu, who's been in there 10 years, plays the #1 striker. They couldn't push him because this was when esports was young and the way they were looked at from the outside was important. And he looks like a gangster. He looks like someone who would rob you. So we can't push him.
No, he's not clean cut enough.
He's not clean cut enough. He's not safe. Or why they push Zhao Zakai, who's not only the best sharpshooter, but he also has no personality and he's super attractive. He can't talk for shit, but he's pretty, so we can push it.
Yeah. That's I like the depth which it goes into the like scene itself. That sounds like something that you normally wouldn't get out of this kind of book. And like
they even touch on the exploitation of female players
really
and how valuable they are to ad revenue.
well, yeah.
Yeah, they touch on all
Yeah,
of it.
that's you can type stuff as well, like in anything, but there is a voice command, and like you can't change your voice. So if you're like playing a female character and you have a male voice, everyone's gonna know. And especially in the pro scene, it's very hard to disguise your voice, like because obviously, like that's gonna be
Yeah.
Or you have girls who are amazingly skilled playing male characters that hide that they're females. So when they get put on a team based on their skill level, it's not just the value of being a solid female player. They wanted to be respected as good players first.
Yeah. And then
and
also
then female later to get
yeah.
more money. Like it's dope. It's really cool. You'll appreciate
it's a very
it.
well thought out novel.
If you like esports, or if you're in the esports industry, or you play games competitively, or you follow it, you're gonna love this book. You're gonna love it because it's so well executed. There's a reason why 27 million people read it when it was first coming out. There's a reason why it has stage plays. Reason why it has an anime. It's just really good.
Can't imagine
really well
what a stage
executed.
play this would look like.
A few questions. How many chapters and where can we read this?
Okay, so you can read it at Gravity Tales. This was actually the reason why I started reading Gravity Tales.
Ooh.
It's at, I believe, 950 plus chapters right now.
Nice.
There's, I believe, 1,500 chapters total. It translates kind of slow, about 2 chapters a day if you're lucky. Maybe like 10 chapters every 2 weeks, basically.
So wait, it is completed like as a work.
It's been completed as a work for a long time, but it's not completed as a translation because the translator is a little slow. I mean, compared to other Chinese novels, but I'm okay because the quality is super high.
It sounds like it'd have to be for this kind of book. Like
I kind of like this is one of those books I wish someone who had the proliferation, like the pure throughput of a rainbow turtle would translate.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of those.
We can only aspire to have all rainbow turtles all the time.
Well, I mean, this is a Chinese book as opposed to a Korean one, which is actually weird because like it feels so much like a Korean book when you start reading it.
Yeah. It has it's Korean without the system.
It's because it's about video games.
I mean, it's not though. It's more the mentalities of the characters, and I mean, it comes across they are very clearly Chinese.
Oh yeah. The viewpoints, the way they deal with stuff, the way they handle politics, the way they fuck each other over is very Chinese.
All right,
sure.
But it's both like imagine if there was cultivation where it was your skill as a player and not like fancy words like going through hours and hours of practice while still having all of the cutthroat, mind-destroying, strategizing of a typical cultivation novel.
Hot damn.
Yeah, it is very good. I've enjoyed what I've read thus far.
Yeah, sorry for taking up so much time, guys. I just love to spill about this. I went out my way to avoid spoiling too much outside of the Tangrowth stuff. I do apologize, but it's not even a big spoiler. It's just background story. The characters are great. You're going to love them. The situations are great. You're going to love them.
I am going to do some homework on this one. This one sounds like a fun one.
Sounds good. I hope you like it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it starts you very much in the dark, and most of the story is it trying like you figuring out who these people are, both in the future and in the past. It's kind of fun because It's a story that takes very much in the present, but it's almost none of the important plot points are happening there.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're moving over to business. Do we have? I guess you didn't do homework. Do we have a review?
We don't actually. No one's.
Oh well, no, we have one.
Yeah, we got one.
There's a guy, I don't remember his name, but he said he read all in 2 days. He read all 20
shit.
of our
That's
episodes.
this guy.
Yeah,
we're doing something right. Got to be doing something right.
You
if
gotta,
read
you gotta
that.
go give a shout out to this guy.
Yeah, he
Kenny.
did request
you gotta read the thing.
that we do more Hell episodes or night episodes.
So let's do more night episodes. What's the
Well,
next night episode?
yeah, well, the next
I
night
Shall Seal
episode
the
be?
Heavens. I just finished it.
Okay, then. I Shall
Ooh.
Seal the Heavens is going to be the nice night episode. What's the next episode after this? The Japanese next?
What? The tutorial is too hard.
That's
No,
Korean.
that's Korean.
That's Korean.
I guess we could do Mahoka,
Mahoka, there was-
Mahoka was on the request list.
or we could do something real crazy outside of character for me.
Ooh, what was that?
Road to Kingdom.
Oh, that was the
That's
sexy
an
one.
R18. That's an R18 novel.
The sexy one.
I read 170 chapters of that shit just to read it for you guys because it was the most
Aw.
popular Japanese novel I saw upvoted on /r novel translations, and I'm like, let me see what this is about. Holy shit, the combat's really good, but everything else, I don't know.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah. That was user NWTX.
Thank you, sir. What
on
was there anything special about that one?
No, it was just I got through all the episodes in 2 days, so you guys had to be doing something right. Good job. Also, more night episodes. So.
Ooh, all right. Well,
Yeah, simple, sweet. I like it.
we're fulfilling on it immediately. Richard, we didn't even get to talk about some stuff in this one. What did we even get to talk about?
We didn't even get to talk about the time where he won a 1v9 by logging out.
Oh, that was great. And that triggered them. They were triggered. Oh my God. He like shadow stepped into the middle and then just logged out. Fuck you, dude. I'm out of combat. Hold that shit. I stole your shit, boy.
Amazing.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. We didn't even talk about all the awesome scrap picking.
Well, like just picking over like.
I'm not going to explain it.
Okay.
we
What else
didn't
did we
even
get to talk about?
Pretending you have a full raid group with you and stealing a wild boss?
Oh,
We didn't even get to talk about the time where Yikyu's team kept using off tank. Kept pulling a boss off tank to keep him away from other guilds.
We didn't even get to talk about the time he took that idea and multiplied it with a 400-man raid to off-tank a monster literally miles away.
Jesus Christ.
It was incredible. It was a chain of taunts.
We didn't even get to
Chain
talk about
of
the time where he
taunts.
made an all DPS well, actually, he pretty much always makes all DPS parties. But the first time he just like shows up and they're like, so we've got a tank and a cleric here. He's like, we don't need them. They're not DPS. It's garbage. Don't worry.
I just
I got
need
this.
DPS. I need me and DPS.
It's like, but we'll go off tank. It's like, I will hold all the threat. It's perfectly fine.
We didn't get to talk about the time Tank-Ro was selected at the All-Star game. At the All-Star game, she went up 1v1 against a pro player and beat him in public.
Ooh. Public.
It was actually vicious.
We didn't even get to talk about Steam Invasion's obsession with astrological signs.
What's your sign?
What's your sign, bro? What's your sign?
Keep in mind, he's saying this while strangling people. It's great.
Like,
What's your
imagine being like,
sign?
what's your sign? As he like takes a brick and just like throws it in the back of somebody's head.
taste the brick.
He needs to
your
know
sign?
for everybody to know how effective he is and was against them.
We didn't get to talk about the time Old Man Wei and his team of followers hunted a guild so much that they had to create united fronts to kill them and kept hunting them to the point where their level 70 characters were de-leveled to level 1.
Exterminated.
Jesus.
I think that's probably a good one to
Yeah.
finish on.
Jeez.
Well, that this has been Treading the Path of Heaven this week. As always, you guys can send us an email at tiger.rollercoaster@gmail.com, or you could tweet us at tigercoaster, or you can leave a review if it is existent. We will read it If it is not, we will skip over it like I tried to that guy's. Oops.
It's cool. I still love you,
NWTX.
NWTX. Almost said NWXT like it was like NXT, but new.
Yeah,
But
new NXT.
It's what's new and what's next.
It's the new extension. Yeah.
All right. Also, we have a new podcast. It's called Just the Build.
It's just a bill.
If you like world building, you like stories, and you like improv, go ahead and take a look. Take a look. See. Take a listen.
It's going to be that next thing.
It's
It's
ton of fun.
there's going to be a link to it in the bottom of this thing also.
Yeah,
So-
it was the it'll be the last episode in our feed before this one.
Yep.
We put the first episode in here just to kind of give people a sample.
That's a
But
little
it also
bonus.
will be on its own feed as well. So you can subscribe to it there as well if you enjoy it.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week, and thanks again as always for listening.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Tiger Rollercoaster Productions.
Tigers are scary. You try to get off.